Hey, welcome to week 11 of the PTL Pokemon Tri-League? What the hell is this thing named that I'm in and helped make? Okay, so this week we're playing Poipole Charlie, also known as Ellie. Um, a few other names, I think, and the Shanghai Dreigons. It's a good pun. So I forgot to go over changes last week because I don't know, because I'm a brainiac idiot. Doesn't make sense. We dropped Deancey for Quagsire, and I think we used extra points to pick a Volibee, and we didn't bring either of those, and we're still not bringing them. So it was I'm not, no joke. I should have talked about it in the last battle. Like the Quagsire was literally to bait prep. I didn't actually need it for anything. So yeah, that was just the plan there, and then Volibee was just like also like a fake force prep. So I was thinking maybe on this team she has lots of threats. I actually put a lot of I had to remake this right now because I lost what my prep was because XL is trash. And she had like a lot of threats like Specs Heliolisk or Scarf Heliolisk even. It's like I have like one switch into that, and if she predicts it, then I'm screwed. Like if she goes for an electric move, I can go Zera or Nidoking, but if she predicts that and goes Hyper Voice hits everything besides Celesteela. So Celesteela is my normal resist, but it's weak to electric. So it's got good coverage on my team. It could run Specs or Scarf, depending if it wants to outspeed things or if it wants to do big damage. And so just having some like Quagsire maybe makes that a little less viable for her. Or maybe forces Grass not prep for maybe makes Melodic second guess itself, stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just and then Entei I have more. Entei isn't really red, but it's still red just because it's broken. So we're bringing Slowbro yet again, baby. Greatest draft pick I've ever had. And it's the same set. I just bring dual stab and slack off toxic. So basically, my plan is to hopefully toxic something. This obviously can, in theory, wall Entei if it doesn't have like a toxic move. It can mostly wall Jirachi. I just have leftovers. Beedrill and Heliolisk wreck it. It can handle Aerodactyl. If I can toxic the Melodic, it can handle Melodic. Hydreigon's bad. So it's kind of like any of her special attackers or Mega Beedrill have really good matchups against Slowbro. So it's kind of like a 50-50. Like it's there because it has to be, even if its overall matchup isn't good. And also she has Jirachi and Togekiss on the same team. That shouldn't be legal. That's just asking for flinches. So that's no good. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Slowbro, third week in a row. Here we got a Flyinium Z. Oh, I have the wrong team up. Whatever. She had Chestnut. What did she change for? I don't know which of these were changes. But she had Chestnut at some point. I think Hariyama wasn't there before. And she doesn't even have a grass type anymore. Weird. I don't know. But Chestnut was a thing, so I was like, well, if I'm going to run Bulk Up, I have to run Bounce Flying AMZ. I could just run Flying AMZ, but if she has the Spiky Shield, then I can't do anything. So that was my... I mean, I didn't really expect Chestnut to come against, like, Nidoking and Altaria and Celesteela, but, like... It also walls the hell out of Zera. So it was just kind of prep I had to make. And if I'm in a situation where like a Zappium Z or whatever it's called, I don't even know. Electric Z move would be better than I'll have to bite the bullet on that. But that's fine. I don't know. I max speed because Mega Beedrill, she might creep or whatever. I also messed this up because like the freaking speeds aren't colored, but they are on the other side. Just ignore me. So yeah, Plasma Fist Close Combat pretty much destroys everything on her team. I mean, it's super effective. Like, Electric Fighting is super effective against, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of her mons, and neutral on at least the rest. So, it's good coverage. It's Zero Aura. It's going to do work. So here we have a Wakanzel Stela specifically for the... Heliolisk if it wants to come in and I need to take a hit, or if she's got some sort of weird like Thunder Fang Aerodactyl. I don't know. I am worried about Z Aerodactyl. Besides the fact that Zera outspeeds it and can kill it. I mean, Rock ground, as we've seen before, just eats my team up. So even Slowbro isn't going to do that much against it. I mean, it can Scald back and live one hit, but it might get 2 KO'd, and then she has a free switch. If I bring Zera in, I have to go for Wild Charge or whatever it's called, Plasma Fist. But here's just annoying Celesteela, Leaf Seed, Protect, Air Slash, Heavy Slam. Basically, Air Slash, Heavy Slam, besides Heliolisk and Jirachi, which, well, Heliolisk, I have the Wukong, and I don't know. This is why Heliolisk is bad in this matchup. But yeah, it'll hit everything on the team, more or less, and I can Leaf Seed. But obviously, I expect Entei and Heliolisk to come because Celesteela is such a big threat, so I had to prep for those as best I could. So here we're going to run Choice Scarf Nidoking. It can outspeed all her spooky guys like Mega Beedrill, Aerodactyl. If Jirachi, Entei, or Heliolisk are scarfed, I will get outsped, even if Entei is Adamant Nature, I believe. Or I could maybe push, I could have pushed max speed Nidoking. I don't know, maybe that was wrong. But yeah, so, Surf to hit a couple of the rock types or hit multiple things. Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Stab hits everything pretty good. Melodic is a pretty big issue for me, especially if it is Flame Orb Marvel Scale, because then even Zera can't really hit it that well, and then I'm going to have to sit in with Celesteela, Leech Seed it, switch around, try to do shit. And if I can't Toxic it, I can't whittle it down. So really, in theory, Flame Orb Melodic, especially if it burned Zera with the Scald or something, could definitely just stall out my entire team. So we have to kind of be careful of that and hope for the best. I don't know. Now we have Mega Alt. I'm going to heal Bell because she has some toxic options, and I don't want, if Slowbro needs to be walling stuff, and Melodic's there, I don't want to get toxic or Thunder Waved by things like Jirachi and Togekiss. So I'm really here just to hit things with moves and maybe catch a Beedrill with a Flamethrower, and this is my bestish answer for Heliolisk, unless it's Specs with Hyper Voice, because I can Hyper Voice back. And this thing is good for Chestnut as well. Like I said, I really didn't need the Flying EMZ on Zera, but it was there and Chestnut there. So pretend Hariyama is a yellow Chestnut. I don't know. So it's a pretty standard special defensive thing. And then finally, Choice Scarf Intimidate Arcanine. So here's basically, literally this is my game plan for this, is to kill Mega Beedrill with this thing. So basically my plan is to lead this and hope she leads Mega Beedrill and hope that she U-turns so I can Flare Blitz and outspeed her. Because you might as well Mega with the Beedrill. I don't know. Beedrill's weird now because now that the speed activates on the turn, Beedrill doesn't need to before it's Beedrill needs to Mega Evolve so it has the speed, but since it gets the speed and it loses some bulk, I think overall it does. I think one stat defense goes lower and special defense stays the same or something. I don't know. It's one of the defenses lowers or something. But it's you don't actually want to Mega Beedrill as fast as you can, because if you in theory, if you need to switch it into something, it's better if it's not Mega'd, which is a niche thing. But basically, I just wanted to try to U-turn out on this thing. Or if I am in on something like Jirachi or whatever, I can Toxic on a switch. Hopefully, even with Intimidate and Toxic, convince her that this thing is a more defensive guy, but just maybe doesn't have leftovers, and then she'll expect the Scarf even less or something. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but it outspeeds everything and it hits hard with my moves. I mean, once again, Melodic is just really messing this. Can't hit Melodic, can't hit Melodic, can't hit Melodic. I mean, Wild Charge does, but it doesn't do that much. Can stall against Melodic. The only thing that can hit it, Toxic. It's weird. So it is actually a tough matchup. I know at this point, I think Ellie still only has 1 win, so she should be 1-9. Maybe she's 2-8. I don't know. But we're now 6-4, which is an important thing to have to keep our mini 2-win streak going after we beat Cameron to bounce back from the loss, and we beat Brendan, who was in second place at the time. It was 7-2. So now, a win there and a potential loss of one of the other 7-win teams could get us into the top 4. Stuff like that. So we'll see what she brought. We'll see if my predictions were right. But the orange ones were basically, I mean, Jirachi, I kind of expected to come, but it's yellow because I have Celesteela and Arcanine and Slowbro. My prep for other stuff just kind of ended up working as Jirachi prep. But at the same time, Trick Jirachi or like Scarf Ironhead could definitely mess me up because I mean I have 4 steel resists coming, but like what are steel resists if every attack does 13% and flinches you 6 times in a row? Oh no, I've lost 80% of my health. They kind of it's obnoxious. So yeah, we'll see how it goes and battle come up. Thanks for watching up to this point, baby. Ooh, just kidding. So here's the team preview. I didn't think anything through. So as we see, the offensive Entei and Heelless threats are here. Melodic, which I'm very worried about, is also here. Jirachi there. Beedrill there. Basically, Piloswine was like the only thing where it was like that was kind of a throwaway slot. I really did think the other 5 would come. And Pylo even makes sense because of Zera, and even if I have close combat, it's really not going to do that much. Especially if it's obviously a Violate defensive, and then it'll handle alt. It doesn't really do much to Selly, but I have 3 ground weaknesses, so that's pretty good. It's another thing Slowbro has to worry about, and another thing that could toxic me if I'm in on it. So that's another good reason to have Heal Bell on alt. So I believe this battle is kind of long. It's not as long as Brendan, but still two long battles in a row. Very surprising. So I'm gonna go with my strategy and lead Arcanine. Hope to catch either a Beedrill on an unexpected Scarf, or catch a Melodic on a Toxic, essentially. So here's what's going to happen. She's going to lead Jirachi. No, I paused it too soon. I did the thing I hate. I forgot Intimidate was the thing. So she's going to lead Jirachi, and I'm going to lead Arcanine. So here I can click Flare Blitz if I want, but the thing is, I don't know what item she is, and I really just expect her to switch. She's not going to want to Thunder Wave and get like Will-O-Wisp. She's not going to want to... And she could want to get Rocks Up, but like also like it's turn 1. You don't want to sack your Jirachi to a Flare Blitz. So I'm gonna go for a Scarf Toxic here, and here's an interesting mind game thing. So she U-turns, it does 8%, and I Toxic the Melodic, which in my thought process was awesome. I was ooh, Flame Orb gone. I don't see if she's Flame Orb yet, but in theory that is gone. Now another theory, it is still Marvel Scale boosted, also in theory. So we'll have to see, but basically here's what I thought would happen. I thought I had basically convinced her that I was a defensive Arcanine, and my Scarf play was all but guaranteed against the Beedrill. From her perspective, she saw that you turned at 8% and knew for a fact that I was a more offensive Arcanine, and I didn't even consider that as an option. So like obviously like that's smart, like that's situational awareness. That's great on her part. But from my perspective, I was just like, well, I've done my part to convince her that it's a defensive Arcanine without, a Rocky Helmet or a leftovers. But obviously that doesn't work, so we'll have to see how that actually plays out. So I'm going to go into alt. She could like Ice Beam, she could do something. She's going to Helios, which is fine for me. I can see what this thing wants to do, and she has U-turn over the Volt Switch, which does make a lot of sense. And had I had Toxic, I would have gone for it there, but that's fine. I have Flamethrower, does nothing to Piloswine, and I'm going to go into Selly because I know it can't really hit me. She's Stealth Rocks. Rocks are bad for my team. I don't remember having Defog, so it's going to be a sore spot as we double out after I leash the Entei on the Switch. So I don't know who she thought was coming in. Probably Arcanine, I guess, but she's going to Toxic me, which is annoying, and I'm just going to Psychic to kind of get damage and force a Recover. Oh, we do see that she's Leftovers, by the way. But I kind of wanted to force a Recover so I could go into something like Selly, and she just goes into Jirachi, which is fine for me. I can Protect and Scout because I now know she is... Did I mention... Okay, we're going to leash the Beedrill. So did I mention I know she's Scarfed now because she outsped my Arcanine? That was the big point of that turn 1 was I was Scarfed Arcanine and she was Scarfed Jirachi. So I didn't reveal my Scarf because she's Scarfed. And now I know Jirachi is Scarfed and has to lock itself. So she showed a trick, and basically that's a free switch into any Z user or Mega I have. So basically Zera or Alt could come in on that for free. So I knew she had to switch. Risky play because she could have just gone for a trick again and just like seen what happened, knowing she has Zera and alt switches, but also doesn't want to take like an Earthquake or Leech Seed. So I do Leech Seed the Beedrill, and I can once again Protect and Scout what it's gonna do. But I don't want her doing anything funky, so I'm gonna go straight for the Air Slash. But she will U-turn into this guy. So now I'm thinking this is some kind of choiced Heliolisk, and I want to harass it. So I'm gonna Protect, and basically that just showed me a good chance that she is choiced because she did have to switch and not switch moves, which I had the Wakan still, so I could have Leech Seeded and not taken that much. So there's gonna be a bunch of switching, and I'm gonna go into Slowbro as Entei does Toxic, so it could still be like Banded Entei. We haven't really seen it do much, so that's fine. And here's a big part of the battle. I actually get the special defense drop on Melodic, and it's competitive. Now, at this point, because my brain doesn't work, it didn't occur to me because Melodic is just locked into my brain as Marvel Scale. So I was still thinking that she was Marvel Scale, like for the rest of the battle, even though I saw a competitive pop right here, but I didn't really think much of it. I'm like, well, like Melodic can't do shit still because it's like toxic and like whatever, and I have moves for it, so it's like it's fine. I'm basically just spamming psychic to force it into doing stuff and taking damage, but now she goes into Rachi, and that sucks for me because I switched into Altaria, so that double made sense. So she's going to be able to U-turn out on my Slowbro, then U-turn out on my Celesteela. So the three U-turners is going well for here. But she does knock off my Wakon there, which is overall pretty bad. Even though I can keep Leech Seeding and getting health back. I mean, I wasn't leftovers in the first place, but now I know I can't do like the freaking Thunder Punch. So whatever, the Wakon strat. So now it's fine. I can Leech Seed this Jirachi, and I can continue to Leech Seed it because it does nothing to me with Thunder Punch. So I can Leech Seed Entei, go into Slowbro. This turn she does Sacred Fire, and seeing that damage, I think this thing is probably banded, honestly. Which is fine because Slowbro can now take it. I can Psychic, I can double into Altaria. So here I wanted to Heal Bell. I could have gone into Zera on that one, but I figured it was a good time for Altaria to get health back, and this Melodic is still always going to be toxic. So I'm going to Flamethrower, kind of half predicting her trying to get a free switch into Mega Beedrill. It doesn't work that turn, so this turn I'm going to Heal Bell, and that'll be great. So there we go. All her Toxics are gone. Very good for me. She goes into Entei and then has to switch out as I Roost, trying to see what move she would do, and now you have to go into Celesteela as she U-turns. So that's fine. I mean, even if I stayed in with Alt, I couldn't have like hit anything, which is whatever. So I'm going to Protect, Scout this Entei. Protect on Celesteela is like winning me this game. So she now doubles individual, expecting Slowbro, but this time I do go Arcanine, which was part of my plan. Oh, I did it. Okay. And the Flare Blitz strategy comes full circle, baby. Entei comes back in. So basically that was legitimately like my half plan there. I went into Entei instead of Slowbro because I knew I could take the hit, and I also thought there was a decent chance that Beedrill would come back in. And despite her knowing that I was offensive, the Jirachi Scarf play, disguising my Scarf and the Toxic and stuff, made her think I wouldn't be choice Scarfed. She just said she said she knew offensive, and it just didn't like cross her mind, which happens. I do that all the time, like with items and stuff. So it worked. It didn't work the way I thought it had worked. I thought I was a genius, but I was only just kind of lucky. But so she probably kind of considered like, oh, like Flare Blitz, something Toxic, Recover, or something, but offensive. I don't know. But so Entei can come back in on my Scarf Flare Blitz. I'm just gonna go into Slowbro on like Sacred Fire, Stomping Tantrum, whatever this thing gets now. And now I'm in a very good position because that Beedrill went down. I do go for Psychic over Scald, just cause. But here I don't worry about the trick because honestly, tricking for me with the Jirachi is almost better to a degree because that thing is scarfed and can mess up my team. So I get health back on Slowbro, even though Regenerator would have taken me back to like 70, but like after rocks. That's fine, so I'm just going for Psychic. So here I'm going to predict the trick because this Slowbro is clearly giving her issues, and I'm just going to go into Zero Aura. And I could have taken like a U-turn, whatever. So now she fails the trick, I can go for any move I want, and I bulk up. Because now I know I can Plasma Fist. She has to Extreme Speed. It still does a decent chunk, and don't matter to me, baby. So things are going to start dying because Zera is broken. So I could have close combated here. I don't know. I honestly just don't know if it would have killed. But Earthquake definitely would have killed me back, and I wanted Zera still alive for Melodic and potentially Jirachi. So I'm going to go for 2 Heavy Slams. She shows no Ice Shard, which is great for me. Celesteela gets a defense boost and gets a kill, but now it's almost dead, so I'm just going to let her lock herself into a move. And I'm going to Protect first just because I can. So there's a Hyper Voice. Obviously, I'm out of normal move resist. But I'm gonna go to Nido King because I'm Scarfed. I can Earth Power, and she's just gonna stay in and die because I don't know why. I really don't know why. Melodic was definitely there to take the hit, and now she goes Jirachi on my thing. So I'm just like, oh okay, I can like do something here. See it now. Okay, she flinches me. I'm like, fine. So she's gonna double in Melodic, knowing I have to switch into Slowbro, which is fine. Because now I can just kind of stall her out with moves. So she's gonna miss a Toxic. It's not like a huge deal because I do have a heal bell user as long as Jirachi doesn't switch out on me, and I can be forcing recoveries and stuff like that. So basically, here would be a perfect time to go into Altaria on the recover, but I actually just go into Zeraora on the recover. So that's great either way. Something has to die, and she's not going to sacrifice Jirachi, so I get to kill with Plasma Fist. Yay! And there I was kind of worried about that not killing, but then it's fine. So she's going to Iron Head, and I'm up 5-1, but it's actually like a scary 5-1 because, hey, look, remember what I was talking about Jirachi just flinching into death? Okay, so, okay, now I can go Arcanine. Well, now that I'm Scarfed, but she's Scarfed, she's still faster. Oh, but if I can get the hit off, no, I flinch. Okay, so she's -1 attack, and I'm like, this is obnoxious because I let Altaria take that Iron Head earlier. So now Slowbro is still toxic. I can't bring Altaria in because it'll just die. I can't get the heal bell off. Well, fuck. So, so I'm getting Iron Head Flinch. It's doing 7%. So if it weren't for the Toxic, I would be in a 100% win con position right here. But now I'm getting fucked. So I have to sack off Altaria, get some Regenerator back. So I'm like, okay, I can go back into Slowbro and try to break through, get Scald off. But here's the problem. I still have to hit like 2 Scalds because it's a freaking Jirachi. So it's getting like really worrying. It's like I'm getting to the point where I'll have to slack off. Ooh, it does 25%. I actually needed 3 Scalds, but I get the burn. I think because she had already gotten like 8 flinches in a row. Yeah, it's fine. So in theory, like I'm gonna switch here just because I can regen stall the burn turns. But in theory, that was doing 34% to Nidoking. So I still had 2 additional chances to like break out a flinch. And in theory, besides assuming I didn't have to switch into Nidoking to take one, I take 2, so I actually would have died in 3 hits. So I went on this turn no matter what, but Nidoking actually secures the kill over Slowbro. So that was a big differentials thing at the end. It could have been a 4-0, it could have been a 3-0, ended up a 2-0, and it could have been a loss. Jirachi could have easily just flinched me to death there, especially without that burn. That burn was incredibly big for keeping me in it when it's like I'm not saying like I deserved the win or whatever, or like she's not skillful, but like Jirachi's flinch is on Iron Head is still only 60%, and that was a lot of 40% misses. I could have. I'm asking to hit 1 Fisher out of 10 tries. Like statistically, it had to happen, but essentially it only happened with the 30%, which was the Fisher. I don't know. It was weird. I won. I wouldn't say like that was a weird battle because it was basically me just trying to stop her from taking huge chunks out of my team. So I built very defensive, and she built very offensive. So it's basically like besides Melodic, basically. So I had to like counter her things. So Celesteela protecting on her 3 choicers, which was like Bandit Entei, Specs Lisk, and Scarf Jirachi, was huge for me being able to scout those moves and do things. And she had a lot of good doubles. I had a couple of good doubles myself, or a few good stay-ins. And I think I just kind of like basically had she made like I don't know, say Beedrill on Arcanine, she's like, he could be Scarfed, or like, what if Extreme Speed could crit me? Like, doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I don't know. So like that play was huge. Her letting Helios go down to Nidoking instead of switching into Melodic. But I guess if I was like Life Orb or Specs Nidoking, she had no reason to believe I was Scarfed besides the fact that I brought it in. So like I could have had Thunderbolt. I could have overpredicted. There were things there. But it's a 2-0 win. We continue our win streak. We are now 7-4 after a shaky 4-4 midseason range, and we have very good differential now. We could have had even better differential, but like I don't care about differential. I care about keeping the win. So it was a long battle. 69 turns. Hey, get it? Oh, or whatever. So the last like 13 turns were Iron Heads, but It's all good. We won. Charlie's just had a rough season. A lot of battles like this where it was like it was like pretty close the whole time, and she had a window of winning, and just like one 50-50 play basically cost her the game. I've watched a lot of her battles, and I've been like, I feel like this move, not like that I'm so smart or I'm so good at battling. But I would just be like, I think like her win con would be to go for this move here, and then she doesn't go for it, and then they make the switch or something, and it's like so close, and then it ends up like a 2-0 or 1-0 or hacks happens. She's had a lot of bad luck. So she's at like a 2-12 season, but like it's a very misleading 2-12. It's like it was like the Browns where it's like it could have been an even season. Like, there are overtime losses and stuff. That reference just goes over people's heads. But whatever, so thanks for watching. We continue to win. I should actually put the standings up on this battle because I totally forgot to do it on the last two. But that's okay, so thanks for watching, and see you next week where we take on Jack, the Don Fanatic. And he's been on like a huge win streak at this point, so I think we also have the same record. So a win there is huge for the playoff race. So, yeah, whatever. I don't know. See you then.